Unshakable emotional control is the one masculine trait that silently commands respect and desire, and yet so few men truly embody it. It's not about being cold, robotic, or detached from life. It's about building such inner strength that nothing external can pull you out of balance. When a man walks through life with this kind of calm certainty, people feel it. And whether they admit it or not, they're drawn to it because it signals safety, power, and confidence in ways that words could never express. Think about it. The world today is chaotic. People are constantly reacting, losing their temper, or letting small inconveniences ruin their entire day. Most men are stuck in this cycle too, blowing up when things don't go their way, becoming desperate when a woman pulls away, or letting rejection shake their entire sense of worth. But when you're a man who stays calm, collected, and focused, no matter what happens, you instantly separate yourself from the crowd. That emotional stability is rare, and what's rare becomes valuable. Women instinctively test for this trait, often without even realizing it. Maybe she takes longer to reply. Maybe she challenges you. Maybe she pulls away to see how you respond. Most men panic, chase harder, or get defensive, and in that moment they reveal their lack of control. But the man who doesn't flinch, who stays grounded and secure in himself, sends a completely different message. I'm not here to be controlled by anyone's behavior. I choose how I show up. That quiet power speaks louder than any words you could say. This kind of control doesn't come overnight. It's built through discipline and self-awareness. It's about training your mind to respond, not react. When life throws you a curveball, when your plans fall apart, when someone disrespects you, when she tests your patience, you take a breath, stay calm, and act from logic rather than emotion. That doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't let those feelings dictate your actions. And that level of self-mastery is magnetic because it shows strength at a level most people never reach. Unshakable emotional control also protects your energy. It keeps you from being pulled into pointless drama, from making decisions out of desperation, and from losing your sense of direction just because someone else tried to throw you off course. It allows you to stay focused on your mission, your goals, and your own growth. And ironically, that very focus makes you more attractive because at the core, women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join a man who already has one. When you operate from that place of calm, quiet strength, you no longer have to chase or prove yourself. People naturally gravitate toward you because you embody what they crave but can't find in themselves: stability in a chaotic world. And that's why emotional control isn't just a masculine trait, it's the foundation of true lasting power. Unapologetic confidence is another masculine trait that women secretly crave, even if they never openly admit it. It's not arrogance, and it's definitely not about being loud or trying to dominate every room you walk into. True confidence is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted in self assurance. It's the kind of energy that says, I know who I am, I know my worth, and I don't need validation from anyone to feel complete. That right there is magnetic. It draws people in without you having to say a word or make a single move. The truth is, most men chase validation from women, from friends, from society, and in doing so, they end up broadcasting insecurity. They change their opinions to please others, over explain their actions, or constantly seek reassurance. That energy doesn't inspire attraction, it repels it. Women, on the other hand, are naturally drawn to men who carry themselves with quiet certainty. The kind of man who doesn't need attention but commands it anyway, simply by existing in his authentic truth. Confidence like this isn't about how much money you make, how good you look, or how many people admire you. Those things might enhance it, but they're not the foundation. Real confidence comes from living a life that aligns with your values and having the courage to stand by those values even when it's uncomfortable. It's about knowing your boundaries, respecting yourself enough not to compromise them, and never shrinking yourself to make someone else feel comfortable. That unwavering sense of self-respect radiates a powerful energy that others can't help but feel. Women notice this trait most when you interact with them. You don't feel the need to over pursue, you don't get flustered by tests or mixed signals, and you don't let fear of rejection dictate your actions. Instead, you show up authentically, express interest when you feel it, and walk away if it's not reciprocated. That detachment doesn't mean you don't care, it means you know your value and refuse to beg for someone to see it. Ironically, it's that very detachment, that quiet, unbothered confidence, that often makes you stand out from every other man trying to impress her. What makes unapologetic confidence so powerful is that it creates trust. A woman can sense when a man is sure of himself because he doesn't waver. He doesn't crumble under pressure, doesn't lose himself trying to meet her expectations, and doesn't seek permission to be who he is. That kind of man creates an environment of safety, and safety is deeply attractive. The best part, confidence is built, not inherited. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you pursue growth, every time you face discomfort and push through, you're adding bricks to that inner foundation. Over time, you become the man who doesn't need to announce his worth because it's written in the way you carry yourself, and that kind of confidence is what truly sets you apart. Emotional control is one of those traits that women notice immediately, even if they can't quite put it into words. It's the quiet strength of a man who doesn't let his emotions dictate his actions, no matter the situation. When life throws chaos his way, when someone disrespects him, when a deal falls through, or even when a woman pulls away, he doesn't lash out, panic, or beg. He stays grounded. That kind of composure is rare, and because it's rare, it's powerful. Both men lose control over their emotions without even realizing it. They react instead of respond. A woman ignores a text and they double text. She tests them with a sarcastic comment and they get defensive. Something doesn't go their way and they explode with anger or retreat into silence. What they don't realize is that these reactions expose insecurity and weakness, and that energy is deeply unattractive. Emotional control, on the other hand, flips the dynamic. It shows that no one, not even her, has the power to rattle you. A man with emotional control understands that his value isn't tied to anyone else's behavior. He's not seeking approval, and he's not afraid of losing someone who doesn't value him. Instead of reacting impulsively, he takes a step back, processes the situation, and acts from a place of logic and self-respect. That restraint doesn't just make him more attractive, it earns respect. Because in a world where everyone is quick to overreact, the man who stays calm stands out. Women are instinctively drawn to this kind of strength because it represents security. When she sees that you can handle pressure without crumbling, that you can disagree without turning it into an argument, that you can be challenged without getting defensive, it tells her something important. You're in control of yourself and your life. That sense of stability is incredibly magnetic because it signals that you're the kind of man she can trust to lead, to protect, and to remain steady when things get tough. But here's the key. Emotional control isn't about suppressing how you feel. It's not about pretending to be a robot or denying that you're angry, hurt, or even excited. It's about mastering those emotions so they don't master you. It's about creating enough space between what you feel and how you act that you can make intentional choices instead of impulsive ones. That's the difference between a man who's led by his emotions and a man who leads his emotions. This level of self-mastery doesn't just improve your relationships with women, it transforms every area of your life. It makes you more effective in business, more respected by peers, and more at peace with yourself. Because once you realize that no one outside of you has the power to control your internal state, you become unshakable. And being unshakable, that quiet, grounded strength, is exactly what women secretly crave. Purpose is the backbone of true masculinity, and women can sense it instantly. A man with purpose doesn't wander through life hoping things will magically fall into place. He knows where he's going, and every step he takes is guided by that vision. That doesn't mean he has every detail figured out, but it does mean that his life has direction. And that direction makes him magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to men who are building something bigger than themselves because purpose signals strength, stability, and ambition, qualities that speak louder than any words ever could. When a man lacks purpose, he often becomes needy without realizing it. He clings to relationships for validation, overinvests his time and energy in chasing attention, and feels lost when things don't go his way. That energy repels women because it communicates that his sense of self worth depends on her approval. But a man with purpose doesn't operate like that. He's too focused on his mission to chase anyone. He values connection, sure, but he doesn't need it to feel whole. And ironically, that independence makes women crave his presence even more. Purpose also brings a quiet confidence that can't be faked. When you wake up every day with goals that excite you, whether that's building your career, mastering a skill, growing your fitness, or creating something meaningful, you carry yourself differently. Your body language changes, your conversations are richer, your time becomes more valuable. And women notice. They respect a man who's selective with his energy because he's investing it in something worthwhile. But having purpose isn't about impressing anyone. It's about aligning your life with what truly drives you. Maybe that's entrepreneurship or art or fitness or personal growth. The specifics don't matter as much as the passion and consistency you bring to it. What matters is that you're pursuing something that builds you into a better version of yourself day by day. That steady progress not only builds external success, but also deep internal fulfillment. And that fulfillment radiates in ways others can ignore. There's another layer to this too. A man with purpose sets standards in his relationships. He doesn't tolerate disrespect or drama because he knows his time and energy are precious. He values women who add to his life rather than drain it, and he walks away from situations that don't align with his vision. That kind of discipline commands respect. It shows that while he may care deeply, he'll never compromise his mission for anyone, and that boundary makes him even more desirable. Living with purpose is what separates men who drift from men who lead. It's not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about staying committed to growth no matter how tough the journey gets. And when a woman sees that you're grounded in something bigger than yourself, something she can't control or take away, it sparks a deep sense of admiration and attraction that words could never create. Emotional control is one of the most powerful masculine traits a man can develop, and it's something women deeply respect even if they never openly admit it. Life will always throw challenges your way, setbacks, rejections, misunderstandings, or moments where emotions run high, but how you handle those moments defines you. When a man can stay calm and collected instead of reacting impulsively, it shows strength and maturity that separates him from the crowd. That quiet steadiness is magnetic because it signals that you're grounded, secure, and capable of handling whatever life brings. Think about it. Most people live in a constant state of reactivity. They lash out when things don't go their way, panic under pressure, or let anger control their decisions. But a man who practices emotional control refuses to be a prisoner of those impulses. He understands that emotions are natural, but they don't have to dictate his actions. That self-mastery makes him trustworthy and reliable, and trust is one of the deepest forms of attraction there is. A woman feels safer with a man who won't lose his composure in the heat of the moment because that steadiness creates a sense of security she can't find in someone unstable. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending to be emotionless. True emotional control is about awareness and discipline. Acknowledging how you feel without letting it take the wheel. When you're disappointed, you don't spiral. When you're angry, you don't explode. When you're rejected, you don't beg or chase. You take a breath, assess the situation, and respond with intention instead of impulse. That restraint is what earns respect because it shows you operate from a place of strength rather than desperation. Emotional control also gives you the upper hand in relationships. Instead of being swayed by games, tests, or emotional highs and lows, you stay centered in your frame. You're able to set boundaries calmly, walk away when respect is missing, and handle conflict with a level head. That doesn't just make you more attractive, it commands respect. People, including women, naturally admire and value someone who can remain unshaken when everyone else is losing their cool. Developing this trait takes practice. It means learning to pause before you react, training yourself to process emotions rather than letting them control you, and focusing on solutions instead of problems. Over time, that discipline becomes second nature, and you'll notice how differently people treat you because emotional steadiness is rare, and rare qualities are always in high demand. At the core, emotional control is about power, not over others, but over yourself. And when you have that power, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You move through life with quiet confidence, unbothered by the noise around you, and that energy speaks louder than words ever could. A man with emotional intelligence stands out in a world where many people struggle to understand themselves, let alone others. Emotional intelligence isn't just about being kind or empathetic, it's the ability to read the room, understand what people are feeling, and respond in a way that builds connection and respect. Women find this trait incredibly attractive, often without even realizing why, because it signals depth, maturity, and a level of awareness that goes beyond the surface. When you have emotional intelligence, you're not easily thrown off by moods, arguments, or mixed signals. Instead, you can recognize the emotions behind the words and actions of others. If a woman is upset, you can sense whether she needs space or a listening ear. If she's testing your patience, you don't snap or take it personally. You respond with calm assurance that shows you understand the bigger picture. This composure makes her feel seen and safe, and that feeling is what creates a powerful connection. What sets emotionally intelligent men apart is their ability to combine strength with sensitivity. They know when to be firm and when to show compassion, when to lead and when to listen. This balance is magnetic because it's rare. Most men either shut down emotionally or overcompensate by becoming overly reactive. But a man who can stand strong while still staying connected to the emotions of those around him creates an energy that draws people in naturally. Emotional intelligence also helps you navigate relationships without unnecessary drama. You can communicate your boundaries clearly without aggression, express your feelings without losing control, and handle conflicts with patience rather than pride. Women notice this. It tells them that you're not just another man acting out of ego or fear. You're someone who understands himself well enough to create harmony instead of chaos. The beauty of emotional intelligence is that it's not something you're either born with or without, it's something you can develop. It starts with self awareness, paying attention to your triggers, your patterns, and your reactions. When you understand yourself better, you naturally understand others better too. You begin to notice subtle cues like shifts in tone or body language, and you use that information to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. And here's what makes this trait so powerful. When a woman feels like you truly get her, she lets her guard down. She begins to feel understood in a way that most people never make her feel. That's where deeper connection and attraction are born. Not in grand gestures or empty words, but in the quiet confidence of a man who can tune into her emotions without being consumed by them. At the heart of it, emotional intelligence is about presence, being grounded enough in yourself to meet others where they are. And when you carry that balance of strength and understanding, you don't just attract women, you inspire respect and admiration everywhere you go.